When have I ever been honored by the people that I am myself? Well, you are due in jails and prisons and in an unclean death with deceased address. So, everywhere I am where there are addresses, I don't get honored by the people. That's because you don't really believe in yourselves that you should be an unclean death in a jail and a prison with a deceased address. And you don't believe in everything it is to go there and be there and stay there and die there. You don't believe in all of that. But you have to decease the address. That means you would go to a prison that has an address, and then you have to hold yourself in there and decease the address yourself with yourself. You should not know how to have sexual climax in the presence of an enemy before you know how to go to a prison and to stay in a prison long enough and in such a way that it would decease the address of the prison, and then you're in there for a death for yourself. Well, you can't hire somebody to insult yourself, and you're not God. You're not insulted when you create as God sexual climax in the presence of an enemy by forcing yourself on somebody who's not yourself. That's not your business to do that. That's not you over there. That's God having created genitals in somebody else, and it's none of your business to touch them ever. And I've been in a lifetime of more sexual abuse than I've ever seen in anyone else's life. And that's how you're not due in my world. You're not due to bring myself into this low life form that I would see such a thing happen against myself. And it's just possible because there are threats. It's really not possible for you to stab me with a knife. It shouldn't be possible for a sexual climax in the presence of an enemy to occur because you didn't stab me with a kitchen knife. Well, I just don't believe you. It's true that that's no substitute for the kitchen knife going in, and I didn't survive that problem. It's true that you stabbed me because whatever it is that you got angry with my identity and you wanted to be an identity thief. That's you having to stab myself. And that's due in a walled in prison. You're not supposed to actually attack somebody for a death on themselves unless you're doing it with the same threat to your own self. And that's in a walled in prison with a deceased address. That means if there's an address, you can't stab someone with a knife. That means if there's an address, you can't force somebody to have a sexual climax in the presence of an enemy and they want to stand up and kill you. And they can't because there's an address. What do you want me to do about that? That's even possible. That's me having to say to heaven, you can't have a sexual climax in an address. Well, I'm high enough to say that here, right? The sexual climax in the presence of an enemy is possible because of the deceasement of world number one with Michael is the entity. And his name here is Michael's son, because he killed himself. That's who made it possible for me to have a female genitals on myself with sexual climax in the presence of an enemy and the threatening. That's Michael Michelson, deceased out of world number one, and I don't afford it right here. I want it executed. Then I have to go back a step before that, where Michael is formed as a human form. He had a penis, not a penis, and he had a penis, not a dong. The penis is not allowed to be formed on Michael ever again. I'm right here with that problem, but I don't have it paid for. That it just happened once to myself, and I was angry, and I just lived with it. It's not true. It happened 900 times in my own residence. That means I wasn't due elsewhere, and someone was trying to make me go outside homeless and ask somebody else not to hurt me because this person already hurt me. And he threatened me over and over again until he's not here right now. And now he's threatening himself that he's not here and he's not fulfilling all of the speech offending that was due before he attacked myself by force, that he is not myself. And he was talking over the threatening to himself and calling me, pretty much calling me himself to himself, and he is himself, and we didn't have a meeting of the minds there. There's no contract. I'm not a prostitute who made a contract with a pimp and a John. and I got raped. That's not true that I would. It's true that I am none higher than me deceased. And I live, where I say I am myself, home or whatever, temporarily, to myself. That's where I stay, you could say. And they don't really accept that. They, as in the strangers, who are descended out of this Michael Michelson, who is deceased out of world number 1, 2, 3, because he was Michael a few times. And that's why he's Michelson, is not paid for. He has, his hair is wrong. And one of the images I saw on Pinterest, Michael has hair that is, I have another image, GNC. Okay, I can't use that one. I'm going to stay with Pinterest. Michael has black hair with gray mixed in with his black hair, like it's salt and pepper hair. And it's a little bit long for a masculine with a penis, so it's too long. And he doesn't see that the devil that I sent behind himself is in view now. He just can't see it because he doesn't have himself facing the devil. That means he did something malicious, so that he can't see that God is angry with himself. And I'm aware of that here. It's true that it's not in view that the strangers who are attacking myself in the residence where I fall asleep a third of my life, and I can't, I'm defenseless because I can't help it, I'm asleep. There's nothing I can do about that. They don't see how angry I am, and they are angry right here is not due. They're angry is due in a prison, and if they can't get me into a prison, they have to live with their anger alone in the prison, or find something else to do if you want to be criminally insane in this world. You can't just hostage myself that I am myself and I can't get away from you. It's true that I don't owe you that I'm elsewhere. I can move myself in God, but I don't, because you're due to move away from myself. And it's true that you locked up leverage around myself, but that's just for you to be here now. I am myself deceased, and I deceased all the leverage that was doing that against myself. And it was a lower life form than I expected, anticipated before I was formed to be alive in this world. Number 17. It's my first world to myself in this Godhead. So, what I would like to say about God is I don't actually know him. I'm God deceased right here. And the God above myself that's creating this world, I don't know him because he's beneath myself. And I'm killing that I don't like it with myself. And I'm just this big to kill everything that's not myself to myself. And I am deceased right here in the threatening.